Hi, I'm Chloe.
And I'm Bez.
And this podcast is for graduate teachers in their first 5 years.
We share our own teaching stories as well as advice and ideas we wish we'd had as graduate teachers.
Sometimes funny, sometimes horrifying, but always true.
We want you to thrive and love teaching beyond the dreaded 5-year cliff. Hi, I'm Bez, and I love a chicken tender or chicken nuggets.
And I'm Chloe. And I used to take a 2-litre water bottle to and from class.
Got to stay hydrated.
So today on Two Friends Who Teach, we're coming up towards the end of the term, or some states are already now on school holidays. And so we thought this would be a perfect time for us to discuss what should you do on your school holidays or your first school holidays. So end of term 1, Bez, start us off.
My goodness, can I just start with term 1 is a whole nother level of chaos.
Yeah, it is. It's like a tornado.
Year. It is.
Yeah.
I almost always got sick at the end of term 1, no matter how well I thought I made it through the term. Almost guaranteed would get sick the day before the term ends and then just spend
or like
a week.
When holidays start,
Yeah.
you just like instantly, oh no, I've got a cold.
Yeah, and then just spend like half of your holiday sick and you're like, damn it.
Yeah. Do you know what? In my very first year teaching, I swear I got glandular fever in term 1.
no.
But like I didn't know. But I spent like, I don't know, 8 weeks of that first term of teaching like really ill. And because this was like, I don't know, well prior to COVID,
Yeah.
I feel like we used to just push through things a lot more. But now I look back and I was like, oh my God, I was a real spluttering, disgusting, like germ of a human.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sneezing or blowing my nose or something in class or coughing. I can't remember. And one of the kids looked at me, one of my Year 9 students, and was just like, Miss, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay.
But I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Yeah. It was a different time before COVID, wasn't it?
I know. Whereas now I would have been like, girl, stay home. What
Yep.
are you doing?
Exactly.
And it took a really long time to recover. But I think it's a really good point. Term 1's really intense, right? And like once you come into the holidays, you can have that crash and your immune system can really suffer.
Yeah. Well, it's just the common case of constantly being go, 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 that when you finally get a chance to stop and breathe,
Yep.
you don't realize physically your body is just like, and I'm done and I'm shutting down now. Thanks a lot.
All those cortisol levels, right? That stress, You're like, and the adrenaline.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, Chloe, one of my rookie mistakes, confession time.
Oh, I love a confession from you.
Confession time. One of my rookie mistakes at the start of my teacher career is that I would push through the holidays and do all my marking and do all my planning. And I probably would end up with only like, I'd definitely take the weekends off, but then other than that, like one day of the weekday off as well. And so I would come back to the next school term absolutely
rested.
exhausted,
Yeah.
feeling like I hadn't had a break, and then just like the sick feeling in my stomach that, oh my gosh, there's another like 10 weeks to get through.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword, right? Do you
yeah.
spend the holidays planning, prepping, marking, but then
Yeah.
come back not feeling refreshed? Or do you take the time off, but then you start the school term
Yeah.
feeling a bit behind on the 8 ball, on the back foot, whatever the saying is?
Yeah.
I never get my sayings right.
Oh, that's all right. It all made sense to me.
What was your, when you first started teaching,
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I think I always took like that first sort of weekend as like a break because I was just totally exhausted. And then I'd sort of come back into the planning. I probably wasn't as big of a planner as you were by the sounds of things. But I did often like come back not feeling super rested, which is problematic because like you said, you're just going to struggle through the next term. Coming into like that later school holidays, like mid-year and things, like because I was involved in producing the school production, I was also at school during the holidays a lot because we were running like our holiday rehearsals and things, which were fun but were very long days. And yeah, obviously takes out of your downtime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess like I was a little bit mixed, but I don't know. There was also this feeling for me, if I wasn't planning or working or marking or whatever it was, then I kind of felt guilty.
Yeah, it's that teacher's guilt.
Yes, I felt like, I'm not, I don't know. And then it's like I couldn't rest properly because I was just thinking about all the things that I should have been doing.
Yes. It's
Maybe
a classic
that's-
case, like in the back of your mind. Like I definitely resonate with that because mine was when I tried to have a break,
Yeah.
it would just be in the back of my mind, the growing list of things that I had to get
Yes.
done. And I couldn't really even enjoy myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I felt. So I almost was like trying to chill out and have fun and do things that filled my cup, but then not enjoying them, like you said, because I was just constantly thinking like, I should be planning like what I should be doing in that first week back. I need to map out the term for my planning. I need to mark this like, I don't know, assessment and then
Yeah.
put it up. Or, yeah, just all those things.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like
curious-
a double-edged sword.
It really is. I'm curious to know, though, because you seem like you planned a lot. So I'm wondering, like, how far ahead were you planning?
I would just spend holidays planning for like the next round of assessments. Like, what do you mean?
Like,
Plan
were
a
you
lot.
planning for, like, the next full term?
No.
Or just, like, first week, first couple of weeks?
I would tend to plan for the first couple of weeks. And then if I could, I'd do like up until the assessments. And it was just more, I liked the easing into the term rather than starting the school, like that school term, feeling like very chaotic. But again, it's a double-edged
Which we probably
sword.
did anyway because we weren't rested.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so if we were to go back now, how might we do things differently?
Well, what I found really worked for me is, and keep in mind, I do want to preface this as well. I think this is after a few years of teaching. I think the first couple of years I found it really difficult to have a restful holiday because you might be new to teaching a subject or, you know, it takes you a bit longer to plan or it takes you a bit longer to mark as well. But I found setting yourself X amount of days where you're just like, I'm going to do nothing. I'm not going to open my laptop. And to be honest, your body and your mind is probably like shutting down anyway, that you won't want to. But what I found worked for me is giving myself the entire first week, just being like, I'm not opening anything. I'm not marking anything. And then that first Monday of the second week of holidays, I'm going to do, for example, marking the first 2 days.
Yeah.
I found if I like scheduled things in, that was really helpful for me.
Yeah.
And I think this will be different for everyone, but I found having the first week off in the holidays, that was really rejuvenating for me. And then the second week, you know, I could sort of like ease back into it and just plan a couple of things here, but just do like half days
Bits
of
and
planning.
pieces, yeah.
I wouldn't suggest, if possible, to spend like an entire
A
week,
full
the
day.
entire day.
Yeah.
Because then you're just going to start the school term again feeling pretty like you haven't stopped pretty much.
I think, we underestimate how important that rest is. Teaching is the kind of job where you do need to be on constantly.
Yeah.
Like you are on all the time. And then coming back into term 2, it's funny how you go in and you're like you do day 1 and you come back so tired. Like
Yeah.
I remember coming back into term 2 and I'd be like, oh my God, I need to take a nap after school. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just that like it's a very social job. And as we know, I'm an extroverted introvert. So, I need my alone time. But yeah, I think I would do something similar to you, Bez. Like the only difference was for me is that I liked to do at least like one day where I did a bit of planning in that first week, but towards the end of the first week. So it might be on the Thursday or something. Do a bit of a half day of planning. That might be when I like map the term or look at my term planners and things.
Right. So you did a lot of planning as well for the next term?
Not like a lot of planning. I think the schools I worked at tended to have it mapped out, but it was just an opportunity for me to cross-check it against the school calendar and go, especially for senior classes, was I going to be hit with more, whole school activities or, a school mass or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that just helped me give me a bit of foresight as to the pacing of my lessons. And then I might do a little bit of marking then because I take a gajillion years to mark things. I procrastinate bad. So I kind of need to hit it in a couple of sessions.
Okay.
Sometimes if my friends were marking similar things, if we taught the same classes, we'd have little marking parties.
Oh, cute.
And that was fun because we'd have a cheese platter and, make an event of it.
Yeah.
And then, coming into the second week, I'd make sure that I was planned at least for that first week of lessons.
Yeah.
So that, like you said, I wasn't coming in day one being what am I teaching today?
Yeah.
Panic, panic, panic.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to know. Well, I got to a point where this is probably after a few years. I would actually just I wouldn't put a lot of pressure on myself to plan for a large number of weeks. I think it's just important, looking ahead and seeing what the term looks like. But to be honest with you, also not getting caught up on planning a month ahead. Because as everyone knows, when you're a teacher, every day is different. Every lesson is different. The students change. The lesson changes as well.
Yeah.
So another suggestion that I would give is just even if you have that first week well planned, I would say that's more than enough.
Yeah.
And
then a loose plan for everything else.
Yeah, because as a teacher, you're very adaptable. You'll be changing. So nothing's really ever set in stone. So if you've got that first week sort of as a long runway for yourself, so you're not coming back you will be hitting the ground running, but one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put pressure on yourself to plan for multiple weeks. If you just plan for that first few lessons of that first week, you'll also be fine. But it is so important to rest, to take the time to rest, because I'm sure everyone always says it. I definitely heard it in my teaching career a gazillion times, but it was hard. You hear it, but it's hard to actually
Switch
implement
off.
it.
Yeah.
You can't fill from an empty cup, and it's so true.
All right, so I'm going to turn the tables a little bit now because I want to talk about something fun.
Okay.
Planning's not fun. What do you do on the holidays? What fun things do you do? What are your favourite fun activities? School holiday fun activities. PG.
I don't think we can keep this one in the podcast, but I'll mention it anyway. I would always get loose at the end of the school term. But I think that's most teachers because you have a lot of stress at a lot of things.
Do you know what? I think we should talk about this, to be honest, because most schools will have some sort of end of term function, whether that's an end of term drinks in the staff room or whatever it is. And then sometimes you'll kick on somewhere else. Mm-hmm. What's acceptable in the workplace? I think we need to talk about that.
I can tell you what's not acceptable.
Do you know what? I actually think it comes down to where the event is and whether it's a designated school event. I'm doing inverted commas for everyone listening. Or whether it is an event that is separately planned and then work people are coming along.
Yeah.
So, for example, the school social club or something might plan, okay, we've got an end-of-term pizza and drinks in the staff room last day of school. For something like that, I would say you can certainly enjoy yourself, but it's not the kind of event that you want to get super loose at because you're still in your workplace.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you still need to be professional and, appropriate. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you have an event that's planned, let's say I was hey Bez, why don't we go out and celebrate the end of term? We'll invite a couple of our teacher friends along with us, and it's at the local pub.
Yeah.
Context there is a little bit different, but I think you probably still need to be a little bit mindful of okay, who's there? If the principal's there.
Yeah, of course. I think that's always that's always an undercurrent when you're a teacher, right? You always have to be aware of your professionalism, and that's also included in end-of-term drinks. I think you're spot on there. And, if it's a different social event, it depends on who's there. But, of course, you have, read the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if the room is like your closest teaching friends and you're just out to have a good time and let your hair down a little bit, maybe sing some karaoke and have some cocktails, then hell, go for it.
Yeah, yep, for sure. So what are your favourite things to do during the holidays to fill your cup when you were teaching?
Okay. If you can, planning like a little getaway, 1 or 2 nights away was always really nice. When I couldn't do that, I used to love going hiking. So just planning like little day trips, going hiking with friends. And I also loved going to like the hot springs, like go to a little day spa, that kind of thing. And then just like making sure I was taking care of myself, like exercise, beach walks, like seeing my friends was also really nice. A lot of my friends are teachers, which is super handy because you can hang out with each other of a weekday. And just, catching up on social life, which was super important to me.
Yeah.
But loved me a little day spa trip. That was such a nice thing to do.
Very relaxing.
Yeah. One of my girlfriends and I, like, we'd go down to the hot springs and just, like, have a day there, unwind, come back all, like, glowy and beautiful and smelling nice. Yeah, it was the best. Yeah. That was my favourite thing to do. What about you?
I always liked, and it wasn't possible every term, but I loved penciling something in on like the 3rd or 4th day, whether that's like a flight or driving away, like road trip with someone. It's just nice to have something penciled in that you can look forward to.
100%.
Especially at the end of the school term, like you're pretty exhausted and you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to do anything. But when it comes around, it's always nice to have something booked in. I personally always took like the weekend and the first couple of days of the holidays, to be honest, to myself.
Yeah. Couch potato.
Yeah, I think it was just like, it's very taxing being a teacher, all the social and just all the social interaction, how switched on you have to be every day. So I always just took the first 4 days to myself, and then probably similar to you, always loved getting a massage. I don't know, going out for brunch somewhere by myself, going to the movies.
Love brunch. What's your favourite brunch order?
Are
you sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Me too.
I can never do a sweet. The sweet always looks nice, but I can never do a sweet.
You always regret it later. You're like, now I feel sick.
I think I can just like a classic chili scramble or eggs Benedict.
Yes. I'm the same.
Yeah.
But I also got to add a hash brown.
Ooh, okay. See, I'd always like add halloumi.
Oh, yeah. If halloumi's on the menu, I love
a squeaky halloumi.
Oh, do you know what? I used to hate it when I was a kid. Too squeaky.
Oh, really?
I don't know what happens in adulthood. Your taste
change.
Like, I'm on the Turkish delight now. What's going
really?
on?
Wow.
I know. I feel like I'm showing my age. Well, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
Just circling back. We talked a lot earlier about like that burnout and getting sick. Mm-hmm. Are there any things that you would recommend? Like, do you have any things in your toolkit or your medicine kit, I should say, to help support teachers either from prevent them from getting sick or to help with recovery?
Oh, I mean, Panadol, Lemsip.
Oh, love Lemsip.
Lots of liquids. And I know it's quite hard towards the end of the term, but like if you're able to, like just not over penciling things in, like with your social life.
Yep.
Getting like the rest you need. Honestly, like I feel like it is just rest because your body needs the time for it to be like, oh, I'm actually okay. Like I'm not consistently panicked and I'm not in danger, for like 10 weeks straight.
I'm safe. Danger.
Exactly. It's like maybe if I keep saying I'm safe, my body will listen. But I know it's easier said than done. Just the rest if you can. Water, Lemsip is a lifesaver.
Oh, for those sore throats.
Codral, day and night. Oh, just dose me up on those night capsules. They really helped me. Honey lemon, my goodness, that really helped if you had a sore throat. Yeah. But for me personally, the biggest thing is just like resting. I'm a sort of person where I need like 9-10 hours of sleep if I'm feeling exhausted. And like if I'm running on a lack of sleep, my body will just like fall apart towards the end of the school term.
Yeah.
So get the sleep if you can. obviously I used to be quite anxious, so sometimes that made it a bit harder to fall asleep or get enough sleep. And in those instances, I found like having a notepad and a pen next to my bed, and when your head hits the pillow and you've got like all these lists coming through, I would
Late night thoughts.
I would just do a brain dump, and that would just help me be like, okay, those things will be there tomorrow morning.
Yep.
I can figure out what I need to do with that.
I'm not going to forget that I need to print this for little Stephanie or whatever it is.
Yeah, just do like a brain dump, and then that's there for you. How about you? What's your tips?
I think, like really similar. If you do come down with a cold or flu or whatever it is, like just making sure that you get lots of fluids, lots of rest. Lemsip's great if you have a sore throat. I also really liked getting those, like you can get those strepsils with like the medicated ones.
Yeah,
that like
they're really
if you
helpful.
do have like a really sore throat, it like kind of numbs your throat, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Lots of hot drinks, honey, even just like a teaspoon of honey and then letting that dissolve at the back of your throat. It like kind of coats it so it doesn't feel so sore. And just being really kind to yourself and eating well. I know that's something that you can really neglect in that first part of the year if you're not prepared or if you're not used to the busyness of the year. So, just, get that chicken soup in.
Yeah.
All those veggies.
So, like, nourishing.
Yeah. If you need to take, like, a multivitamin or something just to get yourself back on track, or vitamin C, or is it Armour Force or something that people recommend? I don't know. I've never had it, but apparently people say it's really good at preventing you from getting sick.
Okay.
Do what you need to do. Get some fresh air.
Yeah.
And, the rest is really important. I think I just want to encourage people that, like, if you do fall sick prior to the end of term, please do not do what I did and try and, like, keep going to work when you're incredibly ill. It's not good for yourself. Also not great for others. You don't want to get others sick, but also, like, the world will keep spinning. Like, it's not going to end if you are absent for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you won't be there, but your students will continue in their class. Maybe they won't do as much as they normally would have done if you were there. Fair enough. But learning still can continue.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Don't force yourself to be there if you're not. And if you do get sick on the holidays, like, just, really take care of yourself and you'll get better. Go to the doctors if you have to.
And the other thing as well is, like, I guess, like, if we, like, circle back.
Again, ooh.
The circling back is all happening this episode. I know we were both, like, very similar in terms of, like, resting the first week and then, like, the second week, a bit of planning, a bit of marking. I just also want to preface as well, like, obviously everyone is different, so sometimes, and there were some terms, where I did have a bit of energy left in the tank, and it just happened that, I don't know, all the assessments were, like, the last week of the term. And there were some holidays where it worked better for me to pencil in, like, to take, like, a day off on that first week of holidays and then spend, like, half a week doing the marking.
Yeah, flip it.
And then resting. So, I think everyone, like, knows best, but the really important thing is, the number one important thing is making sure you schedule time in to rest. It doesn't really matter if it's the first week or the second week.
Yeah.
You
just needs to be in there somewhere.
Exactly. Like, you'll know yourself best. And, there were some term holidays where I was like, I cannot rest this first week because I know I will get so anxious about, will I get this marking done? And, it's like 2 classes and I've got a deadline to get them marked by the second week. So in that instance, it worked out better for me to do the marking.
Just get it done.
In the first week and then, just relax the second week.
Do what's best for you.
Yeah. So just make sure you schedule in the rest. It doesn't matter when, as long as you've got it in.
And the fun.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Very
the fun.
important. Yeah.
And the brunch.
Do things that give you joy.
Get the eggs, Benny.
Yeah.
Order the hash browns.
Life's too short.
Oh, Bez, I'm hungry.
I know. Is it lunchtime yet?
Well, thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure that you rate us on Spotify or Apple, and we look forward to chatting to you next time.
Yeah. Don't forget to fill your cup. Make sure it's overflowing.
With coffee.
Yes. Or tea. Whatever your preference is.
Bye.